Hey, 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 welcome into another episode of Halos in the Infield postgame, the road game edition of the Angels versus Detroit, as the Angels come away with an 8-2 victory on the road, game one of the road trip officially, since the Yankees series or the Yankee game was a makeup from the other day. Thank you, Chase, for filling in. I was down in Calexico doing a drug run. Doing a run for my job. So yeah, I was not able to get back in time. So thank you, Chase, for filling in on the post game yesterday. Did a hell of a job. Detroit Tigers, okay, a lot of people would assume that they're a bad team, that they're a bad ball club. But if you look at the numbers right now, Detroit is sitting now with a loss today, 58-63. They were catching up to us in the wild card for whatever, if you're still paying attention to the wild card race. And the Angels now go to 60-61. Big surprise, they're only a game out of 500. Tomorrow, my bet's on Ohtani getting us back to 500. But I have a bold prediction, like I said on the podcast. I think he gives up the 500th home run to Miggy tomorrow. But today's game was one of those things where you thought it was going to be a buttercup because the Angels scored early, took a 2-0 lead. Bundy gave up a run on a walk and a couple singles, and it's 2-1. And then you thought, okay, this game's going to be over or they're going to catch up or whatever. And they did. They made it 2-2 as he gave another seeing eye single. He really wasn't hit too hard today. I thought he pitched really good. He's been encouraging his last 4 starts. You just wish that he had pitched like this on a regular basis before all this stuff happened, before he had such a bad record. Moving on to the hitting, he had some unfortunate, like I didn't like Ohtani's approach tonight. Although he had a hit, he had 3 walks, but his approach at the plate still is not right. Fletcher went 1 for 6. He didn't do too good with his bat, but he was really good in the infield. Walsh, again, worked 4 walks. That's encouraging. I'd like to see him start hitting the left field. He's still trying to pull the ball, and they're still throwing him pitches on the outside corner. So he's got to adjust and go the other way. I thought Iglesias had a good time at the batting tonight, 2 for 5. He could have had a third hit. Mayfield thought struggled. He got the 1 RBI or got the 1 RBI knocked in. He had 2 walks, but he did leave a couple guys on base. Marsh got robbed of a home run, and we'll talk about that in a second. He had 2 hits, including 3 strikeouts, but he did work the counts. I still think he's still a year behind. Adell had the 1 hit. He had a couple good at bats hanging in there, struck out a time or 2, but the grand slam was the coup de grace. I mean, we've been waiting for his power numbers. We thought, okay, if you work walks, if you get hits, that's what you want to do in the major league side. Get the average up a little bit. Don't be a 158 hitter like you were last year. He's at 230 right now. He hit that grand slam. That was huge. That's huge for his confidence. He talked about in the post game with saying that Mike Trout was telling him to get all over the swing all over the fastballs when they come to you. Work the counts, work the fastball, take it deep, and take a shot. So there you go. And then Kurt Suzuki goes deep. Who would have thunk it? I think that pitcher was just frustrated and just trying to get out of the inning. He threw one right down the middle, and Suzuki, to his credit, did not miss it. 2 hits for Lagares. That was good to see, but I think his chance at being back next year, his chance at a lot of playing time this year got diminished as the season went on because he just seems to not get any breaks. So the win went to Myers in relief. He goes to 3-4, and his splits. Nick Tukulin hit me up and was talking about his splits on the road to home pitching, and they're just unbelievable. He's got like a 6 ERA at home, does Myers, but on the road, he's something like a 134 or less. I mean, the dude is nails on the road, but again, and then here's the thing that I don't know if you guys noticed out there, but Madden was warming up Iglesias with a 6-run lead. Stop. There's no need to do that. Even if Myers runs into trouble and gives up a couple runs, throw anyone else out there. There's no need to have to put him in there because it's the 9th inning and they creep within 4 runs or even 3 runs. Just go to somebody else. Let someone else have the confidence. We know what Iglesias can do. You already worked out his arm right now in a bullpen session. I think that's pretty stupid. It's a waste of an opportunity. So that means if he goes tomorrow and has to pitch 4 or 5 outs, he won't be available for the 3rd day in a row because he was throwing. So it's a waste of a day with him throwing. Pretty stupid right there. Again, another head-scratcher moment for Joe in this one. Cishek did an all right job. I still don't like his sliders falling way outside. He has too much of that going on. So as far as the Marsh thing, we'll get into that. I want to hear your thoughts on that. But for me, real quick, before I get into the comments, I really thought that was a home run. I thought that ball, where the fans' hands were initially over the yellow line, right on top of it. So if the ball keeps its trajectory, the ball is going to actually hit the top and bounce over. Or as long as it crosses that yellow line on the top, it should be a home run. But again, with New York still helping out and the umpires having clear instant replay from several different angles, once again, they rule against the Angels. That would have been Marsh's first career home run, and a big one because that would have gave them the lead. And how awesome would that have been? Sean brought this up and a few others on other messengers saying how cool that would have been if Adell and Marsh would have went deep in the same game. And Sean actually called it before it was hit. Sean was like, I think Marsh is going to get his first home run today. So Sean Norton, I'll give you credit on that. He hit me up and was like, dude, I think he's going deep. And he should have. You would have been right. But again, and then the fan doesn't get tossed on top of that. You know damn well if that was Anaheim Stadium, he would have been thrown out. And you know if that was Dodger Stadium, he would have been stabbed. So you would have saw a corpse in right field at Dodger Stadium, and then you would have saw at Anaheim Stadium the old ushers at 90 years old ushering the guy out of the stadium. So that's what would have happened there. So let's get to the comments. We'll get on this real quick. I'll check in with we'll check in with Twitch. Adell is going to be the reason we go on a huge winning streak. Okay, so Rally's calling for some hype right here. He thinks Adell is the shot in the arm this team needs. Sean Norton says Miguel Cabrera not happening tomorrow. Wonder how many home runs Ohtani has given up. He hasn't given up too many, but I just have this crazy feeling he's going to groove one to him. The only reason I can see Iglesias in a big lead is if to keep him fresh. But fresh for what? We're not in a pennant chase. I really would not push him too much right now. You want to bring this guy back, not piss him off. Nick Tukulin says MLB officially hates the Angels for not posting the Adell Grand Slam. Chase checks in with Joe Adell, baby. Solar says, let's fucking go. Let's go, Adell. Juan says Jared Walsh. Isaiah says Suzuki was the real MVP tonight. I don't know about that. This team will be fun to watch when they eventually are at full strength, Chase says. And that's the other stuff coming out today is Mike Trout was actually given the okay to start participating in baseball practicing. If you saw him during the game, they showed highlights of him chasing down fly balls, running a little bit, doing a little jogging with Adell and a few other players. To me, it's just not worth it because the injury that they were discussing, I read on another article on a fan page that was pulled from Sports Illustrated for what it's worth. It did say that the injury with his calf could lead to an Achilles if he were to push it further. So meaning if it hasn't quite healed, it could turn into an Achilles. And if you know Kobe Bryant's career still was highly elite. But it definitely did some damage to his overall ability. You don't want a superstar like Mike Trout, which is like the Kobe Bryant of baseball. You don't want him to get an injury like that that he can go long term. And Achilles are long term. I don't care who you are. I don't care what sport you play. You tear an Achilles, rupture an Achilles, that could most of the time that's career ending. So if they're talking about anywhere close to it being Achilles, I don't know why the staff, well, I do know why the training staff, because they suck and they're stupid, doesn't shut him down. Just shut him down. This team is not anywhere close to a postseason run right now. It just is not. Can they finish strong? Yes. Would it be a boost in the arm for the team to maybe go on and get a few wins? Okay. But at the end of the year, what's that going to cost? And what if we're in a game late in September and he's rounding second trying to stretch out a double to a triple and he blows his Achilles? Then what are we going to say? Then you've got a guy who's in there for 13 seasons, signed up for us or whatever, 12 years, and you know, we don't know what he's going to give us on the back end. Talk about a contract that can go bad really fast, and we don't want that to happen. We want this dude to continue his Hall of Fame career and put in huge numbers and eventually get to the freaking World Series. So again, Mike Trout, I would not push this guy. If anyone else wants to come off the injured list and start playing, that's fine. But Mike Trout, dude, I would just say, hey, you know what? Do your thing. Get your pom-poms and keep doing what you're doing in the dugout, talking to the young guys, helping them with their swings. Because obviously we have a fat-ass coach in Sereno and a stupid-ass in Jeremy Reed that don't do anything to help this hitting squad at all. And if Mike Trout is giving advice to certain players and they're doing what Adell did today, well, why the hell not just take off his hat and put a baseball hat reserved for the freaking hitting coach and say, Mike Trout, give them your knowledge. talk to them and mentor and do that for the rest of the season, because I don't see where the problem could go either way. Either way, you're shutting him down, making sure he's healthy, and then you're also giving valuable information and skill sets to younger players who could use it. That's where I would put Mike Trout. Screw this whole, like, oh, we need him on the field right now. We're 11 games out of the wild card with 30 games to play. No, it's stupid. It's just a waste. Solar says Ohtani gets walked 6 times. The 1-1 to Adell was high and deep, and Adell hit it for the grand slam. Yeah, that was in his wheelhouse. That's a freaking home run all the time. Sean says, let's see, DeMarcus Cousins had the same injury, Achilles. Yeah, we're 8.5 games back. Boston has lost 2 games. Dude, look, I get it, Rally Chris, but this team has – when have they showed you they can go on a run? I'm just saying, when have they shown you? Shut it down for the rest of the season. Prayers for Chris Bassett, the Angel Killer. He was struck in the head, just like what's his name from a few years ago with a long beard for the Angels, and that looked pretty bad. He was carted off today. Nats fan says, "Way to go, Halos on a great game watched tonight. Light that baby up." Gregory Soto is a true MVP. Nick Tukulin. Joe Adell loves his spaghetti and meatballs. There you go. Marsh is low key. Finding his groove, and I'm liking it. Yeah, he's just got to get his power swing together, but I think his he's hitting the ball a little bit better. Oh, there's Shoemaker. Yeah, thanks, Sean. Shoemaker was the one that took that nasty hit a few years back for the Angels. 1-2 to Suzuki, hit deep into the left and was gone. Angels have gone back-to-back. That was pretty crazy. Welcome back, Todd. Thank you, Juan. Let's fucking go. Love the emotion from Joe Adell. Showed that we need and had been missing the pop in our bats for something good. Absolutely. You forget the timer. We worked on that See, Chase, I'm sorry. I forgot the timer on the front page. You're right. Prayers for Chris Bassett, indeed. I don't want any Lord Bundy slander. And Courtney called it. She's like, I think Lord Bundy gets the victory. She even used that English accent, too. I slaughtered it, but she did it much better on the podcast. She called it. See, you had her calling that, and then you had Fernando on the podcast calling the home run by Suzuki. So I don't know what's going on. I think they both should go to Vegas because that should make some money for one of the two, because they've been on their they've been predicting some stuff. So if you listen to the podcast when we do our predictions, they've been on it. Let's see. Only a 4-game winning streak. Just sit Trout out and hope that Ohtani can get some more home runs, because that's what 2 or 3 months were. 2 or 3 in this month only. And back from vacation, Ryan says, "Let's go Angels." Muhammad checked in with that other comment. It was great for the Angels to cash in some runs for a change, and that just goes to show you guys and girls out there, if this team can be anywhere consistent or get those hits like Mayfield did today. That was a key hit. He went the other way. He hit against the shift. And guess what? It worked. And an RBI scored. If this team did more things like that, this team could be a lot better than what it is. And granted, it's against Detroit, but they've had opportunities like this against several contending teams, and they just don't do the necessary things to get the runs in. But like you guys are saying, it's refreshing to see, and I think it should happen a lot more. It really should. Big Hammer 20 says, have our home opener for football in 2 days. Good luck, my friend. Joe Adell says, let's fucking go. I love that he yelled that right to our freaking bench. That's what needs to happen more often. Chase says, thanks to everyone who sat through my rambling yesterday in the postgame. No, I did a good job, brother. Is a pitching for the Tigers shitting himself? Well, he was after that grand slam. Fletchfax checks in with a very important David Fletcher. He had some nice plays out there in the infield. Very nice plays tonight. Halo fan Steve says, if you ever imagined that it would look like a Todd ran the bases to make a double, it was Suzuki. That's how Suzuki did. Hey, don't make fun of my running. Motown says, stop walking Miggy. Hey, listen, Motown, like, I know you're a Tigers fan and everything else like that. I agree, but our pitching is just terrible, and we're scared of a guy late in his career. That should tell you something. So I don't think a lot of those walks were intentional, Motown. I think that was just our pitching being terrible, because he's going to get something to hit tomorrow. I have a feeling that we're going to our boy Ohtani is just going to give one to him, and it's up to him to take him deep. Kurt Suzuki will get his hit. Will get his hits. He might not do it all the time, but he'll get his hits, and there was a double. Fernando said, who called the Suzuki homer on the podcast? You did, my friend. Stop intentionally walking Ohtani, Nick Takulin says. Solar says Joe Madden needs to go. FletchFact says, this is why the Angels can only be good. We are good. We can't be great. Bats need to be there the whole game. That is the truth. Now, I understand you can break out and score 4 to 6 runs like they did tonight and put the game away. That rarely happens. You'd like to see a team pressure, maybe put a couple runs early when the other team maybe ties it or goes ahead 3-2, pressure back to tie it, and then maybe scratch across a couple other runs, and then you could, rely on your defense and your pitching. But I'm telling you, it's very discouraging when you can't score. While the Royals won 2 games in a row against the Astros so far, Muhammad says Angels own the Tigers every year. You're right. The chair says, Sup Todd, just getting out of work, was listening to the game and wasn't expecting much. Happy for Joe Adell. He was rolling deep tonight. Yes, he was. Cishek and Raciel are the only bullpen pitchers Madden seems to trust. Tabora says, Joe causes me physical pain with his dumbass decisions. Trouter here says, it's funny how we all get excited when the Angels beat a shitty team. It is funny because we're so starving for a team to be good that we know that can be. And then when they let us down the next night, then we're calling them out. And then you have fans like that were on our page today saying, you don't know what you're talking about. A real fan wouldn't do that. No, a real fan can criticize and a real fan can stand up and cheer at the same time. I mean, that's what you pay your God-given money to, and your hard-earned money, and you spend your time, you spend either watching the games on TV, going to the games, talking about the team. You have every right to criticize. Don't give me that crap. Angel's grandma says Joe Adell is a keeper. Yes, he is. By the way, your jersey was ordered today. FletchFact says, love the Dodgers slander. You always love the Dodgers slander. Let's see. Grillmaster says, we won. Holy shit. Sassy, classy. Made says, light that baby up. The crowd was excited for Miggy, but we kept walking him. Isaiah's World, yeah, we kind of pissed the fans off. In other words, Joe Adell, let's fucking go. There you go. Jaime says, OGS says, sup Todd, for us 10th inning. Wait, I don't know if you misspelled us. I didn't get the chance to read that. Solar says, let's fucking go. Trout left, Adell right, and Marsh in center field. There you go. It might go that way because they might want to limit Trout's running. So you never know. Grillmaster says Joe Adell has said hello to his first career Grand Slam. Hello, left field. The ball traveled over there, and I tell you, it went really far. That was my attempt at doing a call. Oh, fire ass in 9th inning, OGS says. A variation of Adell's song right there. No Kurt Suzuki slander tonight. Joe Adell is God. There you go. FletchFact says, I'd say Trout in right field and Adell in left field, so Trout doesn't have to do much running. In right field, probably in Angel Stadium, he wouldn't have to do that much at all because, again, if it's not off the wall, it's right in front of you. There's really not too much running, especially with a shift and stuff. Kurt Suzuki says, I did something today. Cheer for me. Ortiz says, just watching Adell this year, you can tell a big difference from last year. He's more confident and better plate discipline. I agree 100% with you right there. OGS says, I felt the Grand Slam coming right before. There you go, man. I mean, it was a good feeling, right, to see it because you like to see the kids come through like that. We were kind of hoping Marsh would have the same success, but hey, it is what it is, man. At FletchFacts or Kurt Suzuki fan page, haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. A's lose tonight. There you go, Grillmaster. And I got home from school just before the Adell hit the Grand Slam. The Blue Jays lose. See, all the teams actually lost tonight. But again, it's one of those situations where I give you guys and girls credit for still watching the wild card thing. But again, I've thrown in the white flag. I'm just saying, let's play the kids and let's see what happens at the end of the year. Isaiah's World says, Ohtani wants to win a World Series by 2024. I don't think we'll be in the postseason. I tend to differ. I really, really think it comes down to the offseason moves this year, whether it's trades or through free agency. I really think the Angels team will be underrated next year, and they're not going to be looked at as far as being a sexy team. And I think the Angels will come out on fire again. Guys like Chase on this page have been predicting a big bounce back from Rendon. Maybe the vagina problems are over next year, and he'll be ready to go. And then you have a healthy Trout, you have a healthy Ohtani. You know what they're doing. Maybe Adell's ready to roll. Maybe Marsh is ready to roll. I mean, this team could look different with another shortstop, with another catcher. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? And with Fletcher in there, we'll have to see. The one thing I'm not worried about when I haven't had a chance to say this, is the rotation. Again, you just add one ace piece to what we already have. One ace piece. And this rotation turns into a team that can win, that you can take maybe 4 out of those 5 starters, including the ace that we got, that could win 10 or more games. That's all it would take. That's all it would take. Trust me, this team scores 4 runs or more next year in at least a majority of their games. I guarantee you they're going to make the postseason. I guarantee it. And not only that, if you can handle and stay above 500 within your division, even if they don't score 4 runs or more a game, I guarantee they'll make the postseason. The thing that always kills them is the fact that they're always way under 500 against their division. So next year, do better in your division. I guarantee you they'll make the postseason. I'm just saying. It's not rocket science. Grillmaster says they don't want anything to help the hitting squad, Todd. Joe Adell, fuck you. I'll hit a grand slam, boom a slam. Well, Todd, why are you now saying about Joe Adell? Todd Roger Lodge, in a minute, Mateo. Matt Shoemaker was the pitcher that was hurt. Fletchfax says, imagine if this team had won in a one-game playoff, Madden would start see shit. Viva Los Angelitos, Mateo says. Matt Shoemaker, when he was hit by a comebacker in 2016, that was a nasty hit. Tigers buttercup themselves. Mateo says, hopefully they saved some runs for tomorrow. Tigers pulled in Angels. Yes, they did. Agree. The Angels are clueless and can't make up their minds or what to do on the season. I agree with shutting down Trout for the season. No reason to re-injure himself. Joe Adell, thank you, Matt Bedingo, by the way. Joe Adell has the eye of the tiger, definitely. I see what you did there. Let's see, shut down Trout for the season, get him healthy for next year. Adell shows so much passion, T. Goldberg says. He also says, easy fan favorite. Those walks were not intentional. Well, they seem to look like it a little bit. Marsh has been looking more comfortable lately. Ohtani will give up a home run on a 79-mile-per-hour slider, Grillmaster says. T. Goldberg says, our bullpen has been solid lately if Guerra doesn't play, but Madden loves Guerra. Hell yeah, start showing some more emotion on our other team too, bro. The time for us to get cocky. Fuck it, everyone else does it. Might as well. You might as well. A win's a win. Realistic fan, best fan of all. The chair says. Jason Hickox says, don't risk Trout. Shut him down till next year. Let the young guns give us some excitement for the rest of the season. That's what we're talking about right there, Jason. Thank you so much. Miggy will get number 500 tomorrow. Yeah, see, he's calling it too. Marsh would have hit his first home run, but the fan interfered with the ball. Muhammad says we need pitchers and another batter that's not Rendon. Todd, you bringing Bundy back? No, Chair. No, I'm not. Watch us score 1 to 2 runs tomorrow. It'll happen. Book it. That's what happens. That's what happens with this team, unfortunately. Tyler says, love Warren. He's the GOAT. That dude has come out of nowhere, and you guys are absolutely right. Grillmaster says Warren has been very good. Solar says, I'm a real fan. I want to leave the team even when they are shit, but I love them. There you go. Halo fan says, Steven says, no. This is one of those games that gives us hope. Stop that. Don't give us hope for this season. Stop. If I had a first day of school today and it was horrible. Big 20 says, I'm sorry for that. Let's go, baby Joe. Or light that baby up, Joe, says Andrizzle. And then Solar says, it's possible for Oakland A's and the Houston Astros to keep losing like this and we have a chance. It's always there, but will it happen? I don't think so. If Rendon took Viagra, it would maybe help him improve. Maybe Cialis. Mateo says that Los Angeles Angels battle back to send it into overtime. That'd be great if we screwed over a team in a one-game playoff to get into the postseason, but I just don't see it. Bassett's season is over. He was 12-3 going into this one with a sub-3 ERA. Kurt Suzuki says we should try to trade Upton. $28 million would be is too much to bench a player. His money and Pujols' money could be for an ace, Raciel, and more. Kurt, I agree right there. I know you want to trade your teammate, but you'd have to throw in a Canning. You might have to throw in one more pitcher for a team to take that contract because you don't want to trade and say, oh, we'll pay half the contract. I don't think that's worth it. I think they have to have a team eat that contract, and you're going to have to give up a promising pitcher like Canning and maybe another player in lower Double-A or something like that. Because I just don't see them being satisfied with just Canning. They're going to need another arm as well. Angels are like Chingy. They keep pulling me back. There you go. That's a good pull right there, James. Rendon needs HGH. I'm pissed that we got rid of Eaton, Solar says. Where's Packy? Mateo, they sent him back down. Grillmaster wanted to DFA Otani earlier. He wanted to DFA everybody. Let's see. And then, let's see. And Madden loves Cishek, Guerra, and Quintana, which is terrible. My birthday is on Monday, and it's my first day of junior year in college. Good luck there, Grillmaster. And then Lewis says, let's fucking go. Yeah, he went back to AAA, Matt Bedingo. I'd say that we need a trade. We need to retain a lot of the salary, but Upton not so much. There are rumors that Upton will not play next year. Good night, Halo fans. All right, good night, Steven. You know what? If there are rumors, I'd like to hope that they are real, because I just don't think that he's past his prime. You know, I like the guy as a player, as a human being. He's a great guy. But I think he can't catch the fastball anymore. The only way he hits home runs is if he catches a freaking slider or a curveball up in the zone, then he takes it deep. So other than that, I mean, the book is out there on these type of players. If you're not going to adjust like some of these players haven't for the Angels lately, if you're not going to adjust your swing, go the other way, like Marsh or Walsh, I mean, they keep throwing him on the outside. They keep trying to test him there. Now, his batter's eye has gotten better of late, obviously with the 4 walks tonight. However, he's still not going with what they pitched to him and going to left field. That's where that needs to change. He just needs to stop trying to do the batting, the launch angle, try to work with what they give you. And I think if these players like Trout giving the advice to Adell, and Adell, look, one game, he gives him advice, and look what happens. He hits a freaking grand slam. And he just, is a perfect pitcher to get that fastball red eye, dead eye that Adell got. Because that dude threw 100 miles per hour. All he had to do was put the barrel on the bat, and that sucker was going to take off, and it did. 10 rows over that damn orange bullpen or whatever the hell they have in left field. I mean, he crushed it. And that's all he did was put the freaking barrel on the bat, So that's good hitting. It's also good advice. And I'm telling you, I would love to have Trout just be – I mean, that's just like having – like when we used to have when you used to have players that actually were good, that used to be bench coaches or freaking hitting coaches that would relay their Hall of Fame or close to Hall of Fame skills to the newer players to give them advice on how to do things, even if it's the smallest little thing as far as diet or just routines. But this team is so effed up, and you don't know what they're telling these guys. You got 2 hitting coaches that are just dumbasses. And then you get mad and saying, I'm progressive, I smoke weed, I'm going to have batting practice in the batting cages. We're not going to have batting practice on the field where you can actually see where your balls go. Pause. But the thing is, there's a huge difference from hitting the cages to actually hitting live pitching and watching the ball hit the stands, working on going to right field if you're a right-handed hitter, or a left-handed hitter hitting the left field. And he still doesn't get that. He still thinks he's working wonders. Oh, yeah, Joe, you're working wonders, all right. That's why this team is averaging 2 to 3 runs a game, if that. And I don't want to hear we don't have Trout, we don't have Rendon, we don't blah, 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 blah. You can still manufacture runs, because look what happened tonight. Look what's happened on other nights when they score 10 runs and stuff like that. You can do that. The difference is you can be more consistent at doing it instead of getting shut down 4-1, losing 4-0, losing 3-1, and things of that nature. You can actually score some runs and be consistent, and you can actually win more than you lose. And you can actually go over 500 without falling back to it. Because right now, your hottest thing on your team, Joe, is your pitching. And you should rely on that by making the hitters adjust to the pitchers, and then doing in-game adjustments if things aren't working out to your overall projection for the game. Do I have to tell you everything, Joe? Because it feels like it. It feels like it. This is managerial 101. And the Angels are just like, Joe's just like, oh, smoke some weed. I mean, come on. Like, is this Phil Jackson without the victories? I mean, because Joe acts like Zen and all this other crap. At least Phil Jackson got the victories. As weird as he was, stoner and all this other stuff into Buddhism and all this crazy stuff that he was into, meditation, at least that shit worked for championships and victories. What's Joe's logic? Joe's logic isn't really working. I'm just saying. So tighten up that ship, Joe. Get out of that old Volkswagen. Stop trying to surf on the weekends after ball games and worry about stuff like that. And stop listening to old records from Woodstock. Let's get focused. Let's finish the season strong. We've already lost the season. Let's finish the season strong. Let's teach these kids the right way to play ball. Let's teach these kids the fundamentals. Fundamentals. You can have fun at doing the fundamentals. This is stuff we teach in Little League. Come on. Sorry, I had to rant. It's just frustrating. Let me get back to some of these comments here. There are rumors. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Let's see. Where can I get that hat? Well, Joey, this is a trucker hat. You can either win it or if you want to send a donation to the page, I'll send you one. Just hit me up in the DMs. Solar says, and we are rumored to get a good pitcher and not cap next year. Example: Arizona Coyotes trade Oliver, Elkman, Larson, and some prospects to the Canucks. Coyotes retain 10% of the salary. Do you think we can trade like that? I'm not sure if you can. There are ways to get around it, but not all the time. The chair says Rod Carew as a hitting coach did wonders for Garrett Anderson. Yes, he did. I think his swing is comparable to that. I'll be honest, Upton never hit the highest potential in his career. He was drafted really high. If the Angels took batting practice, and by the way, I'm starting to freeze, which is awesome. If the Angels took batting practice and the gates were open, I'd go early to watch that. Things sound so simple when Todd explains it about the managing. Madden makes everything confusing. Need the navy blue hat. Yeah, that hat is fire. And Soto is a good pitcher, and he crushed it. That's true. Let me guess, Papa Fox didn't watch the game. No, he actually watched the game. He was actually pretty happy. He was frustrated a bit there when the Angels didn't do anything. Let's see. Stand up a cement mixer and a prison bus collide on the highway. Police say watch out for a hardened criminalist. Oh, geez. And Drizzle says LaStella has been doing good for San Francisco. He's been raking for San Francisco. With Marsh hitting the ball so well, it will more than likely he will be traded in the offseason for a starter, majors, or minors. I don't want that to happen. I don't know if that's going to happen, bro. But, Matt, I'd say it's about 50-50, maybe 60-40 that he stays. But we'll have to see, man. It just depends on who's out there. There's a lot of veterans in the offseason pitching-wise. I think the smart thing to do would be bust a trade, and that's where Marsh would come in. We need hitters who can hit, not all the way around. Heaney says, or Heaney will be facing us when we play the Yanks. Solar says, my feed just froze. Yeah, it's been going back and forth. And Drizzle says Phil Jackson is a legend. That shit worked because it was real and the players actually believed on him and his philosophy. Sadly, Joe looks like he hasn't been practicing what he preaches. And that's the thing. You need to have guys, just buy in, and they're not buying in. Upton has actually was the first overall pick in 2005, I believe it or not. Madden is acting like the rocket scientist. Yeah, that's true. Sad that I had to go to Arizona and Dodger Stadium to see the Angels hit batting practice. That's crazy. Let's see. Mateo says, Roger James, can you play the clip of Adell's Grand Slam? Dude, that is going to be all over it. All over. By the way, Cole Hamels, did you hear about that? He went to the Dodgers, obviously. He stole $1 million from him. He does not want to pitch anymore. He got the $1 million for signing with him, and he says that he doesn't want to mess up his arm, and he's feeling discomfort, so he walked away already. So there you go. So tomorrow on AM 830, you're going to hear this from Roger Lodge. He's going to come on, and he's going to be like, James, I want you to play that big-time home run by the guy that I told you was going to be the greatest of all time. You want to talk Bo Jackson. You want to talk Cecil Fielder. You want to talk some of the greatest African-American players that played in baseball. And then you're going to hear James say, well, those aren't the greatest African-American baseball players. James, do not correct me for what I am trying to tell you. Adell is going to be greater than all those guys combined. Jackie Robinson, nobody. Because Joe Adell, he is the kind of guy that would host a dating show. He is the kind of guy that will ride his bike from wherever, from Egypt to the Anaheim Stadium, because that's how committed he is to this team. Did you not see that Grand Slam? He's going to bat 500 for the rest of the season. Mark my words. Lodge's lock right there. Roger Lodge says it, so it's going to happen. It's going to be Joe Adell time. James, play that clip. And then play it again, and then play it again, and then we're going to go to commercial, and then we're going to play it again. And then we're going to talk UCLA basketball. But it's not UCLA. We're going to talk UCLA basketball because it's my favorite team, okay? James, we are going to have to talk. You have been stepping on my shoes way too much. And there's a AIM 830 for tomorrow. So there you go. Let's see. Let's get back to some of the comments right here. Let's see. Thoughts Madden promised us 1985 baseball. We've only seen that once or twice. Grillmaster says also Heaney faces us on a new team. You know how that goes. Heaney throws perfect games. Book it. At Dom Hammond, there were talks about trading Marsh to the Marlins for Max Mayer. Yeah, it was right there. That could have happened. James, don't forget Suzuki also homer. Yeah, he doesn't care about Suzuki though. He only cares about the guys that are going to pull ratings. Let's see. Kobe forever, which is Rally. Chris says after Oakland faces White Sox, they got 3 games with San Francisco, then Seattle, and then the Yankees. Then after the Detroit and Blue Jays, and then against the White Sox. So we got a chance. Just take advantage of Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, San Diego, and the Yankees. It all sounds nice. It all sounds easy. But again, I'll tell you, Rally Chris, I appreciate your optimism. But how the hell is this team going to do it? Seriously. We have not seen a bigger win streak than 6, and that was only because we played the lowly Arizona Diamondbacks and the Kansas City Royals. If they can go on a streak like that versus these teams and maybe go 9-1, that would make a dent. And I'm talking about a dent. I'm not talking about, hey, we're right there. We're only 2-3. That would make a dent. That would shave off maybe 3 or 4 games. So again, I'm an optimist too, man. I really want this team to succeed. But I think we're at a point where it's just like, hey, let's just shut down Trout. Let's just get to the end of the season. Let's watch these guys get better. And let's have a lot of hope for next year. And then we'll see what happens. My boy Anthony Henson Jr. checks in. What's up? My boy, I love that dude. He was at the game. He was at the tailgate too. Tommy Eats says, hi, what is up? I'm so happy we live out of AM 830 range. Yeah, exactly. We play the Stanks again. Yes, we play them for 3 games. Looking forward to Sunday's game in Williamsport. Roger is like, James, you're fired. James is the only guy that can stick up with Roger Lodge for this long, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, it takes a lot of nerve and patience of a freaking angel that James has to put up with the nonsense that Roger Lodge spews on a daily freaking basis. That's all I'm saying. But speaking of AM 830, though, Trent Rush is the man. We talked to him. He was nice. He gave us a sit-down interview, so that was pretty cool if you haven't seen that. And as far as the game coming up in Williamsport with the Indians, that is the days are numbered for the poor Cleveland Indians, who were named after an Indian. If you look up your history, it was nothing racial. It was actually something to honor a Native American who played baseball, the first player to play Major League Baseball. And that is going to be gone after this season. It's such a shame. And we're going to get not the Spiders like it should have been if we had to change, but we get the stupid Guardians. So now you have Cleveland playing out its days. They won't make the postseason, but they get a cool game in Williamsport against the Angels, and those jerseys are pretty damn cool. And I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a great game, hopefully, and hopefully it lives up to somewhat of the dramatic fashion that the White Sox and Yankees game. I mean, I had a few fans tell me that game was scripted. You know what I mean? I don't know how you can script a baseball game unless you really throw like softball pitches, but that game was full of all kinds of energy. That was really cool. I can't imagine baseball doubling down on that and it actually working again. But just to have the atmosphere and out there, I'm glad they're making that a tradition. And again, we called that on the show. That was me and Fernando. We called the Reds versus Cubs, and the Reds were that mystery team. We kind of knew about the Cubs, but hey, I'm looking forward to that next season. I think Major League Baseball struck gold with that. Continue it. I hope they do a Sandlot game. Keep the Williamsport game going. I'm telling you, it brings in the casual fan and it brings in the kids. And that's what baseball needs the most. They need a younger crowd to watch the game instead of having the older ones to traditional. And it works now that they're able to get away from some of the traditions. Don't screw with a lot of the stuff, but there are changes that need to be made in sports and sometimes specific sports to make them better. Look what the 3-point line did to basketball. I mean, it's enough said right there. And unfortunately, football, some changes have screwed it over, but no, well, that's neither here nor there. 2011 Cardinals were 10.5 games out on August 25th and won the World Series, but our talent does not compare. Yeah, I get you, Sean, and you said that before. But yeah, that is different. Different squad. Obviously, that team had heart, and I think they had Tony La Russa. I might be wrong. Maybe that was Matheny. I don't know. Angels versus Indians on ESPN. That's not woke nicknames. That's true. Season is garbage time right now. Mateo says. Don Hammond says we do have an easy ass schedule though in the next 8 games. Just saying. James asks Roger, are there any Halo honks on the line? If there is, playing Calling All Angels. We play the Guardians. That's true. The Wahoos, they need the win in honor of Chief Wahoo. The Angels are 9. Have to go 9-1 this 10-game road series. What if the other teams in front of us were to go 9-1? There's no chance. After the season, Cleveland will be known as a Cleveland baseball team. No, they're going to be the freaking Guardians. Let's see the other name redacted. Little League jerseys, fire or lame. I like them, Jaime. I do like. They're much better than those All-Star jerseys. I'll tell you that right now. I can't believe the City Connect Dodger jerseys just say Los Doyers. Laughing my ass off. Those losers. I'm upset with missing the game on Sunday after work. You know what, Jaime? I hope the Angels one has Disney/Anaheim feel to it somehow. I want some like. Basically, Randy came up with a logo that we're going to debut in a little bit. Spoiler alert. It looks pretty cool. And if they did something like what Randy came up with, I doubt it. I just don't want it to be generic like San Francisco. Their City Connect sucks, dude. Let's see. There will be the Guardians. Yes, they will. Sandlot game will be dope for the MLB. Mateo, you have to work. I thought you were like 12. Oh, no, he's older. You're killing me, Smalls. Mateo says the first Field of Dreams game, Williamsport game, and Sandlot game is good for the baseball game. Yes, for sure. Let's see. Jaime, yeah, the manager called me into work on Sunday. Yeah, he works. Good night, guys. See you tomorrow. There you go. Have a good night, Grill Master. And on that note, I'm going to cue up a song that you guys all hate. And it's because of one Roger Lodge. And we're going to do this as a sign-off now because of I want to pay homage to the worst broadcaster in all of sports who just happens to be on our favorite channel as far as listening to sports, which really sucks because, you know, as a fan, I would love for our station and our you know, for everything to be good, but we don't have a good radio station that broadcasts Angels baseball because of guys like Roger, and there's a lot of filler. You know, they need more shows on there, and not all to talk Angels not 24/7, but just local guys to talk regular sports to compete with the other local stations. But that's just my idea. But I just, you know, you have too much cheese with Roger, and if he's your main guy, we're in trouble. So unfortunately, we have been in trouble because he is our main guy. So here we go. All right, enough of that. So I hate this song so much. Sean Figgins, Ace. Okay, Sean, is it before we get out of here? I gotta know because now I'm very curious. That would have been a very good trivia question for Trucker Hat Trivia. Ace says Sean Figgins. Was it Sean Figgins, Sean Norton? Was it Mr. Choney Figgins that got that one? Or in the 90s, she's saying Randy Velarde. Tony Womack, Grillmaster says. That's a pull right there, Grillmaster. That's a really good pull. That guy, okay, I liked him when he was on, I think he played he was on the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Arizona Diamondbacks before he came over. So, yes. Oh, here we go. Sean says there have been 2 in the past, and it was Luis Polonia. Luis Polonia is a guy that I'm desperately trying to get on here to teach some of the youngsters about early 90s baseball. and what it is to play like a champion. Because, dude, I'm telling you, he's a good interview, and I'm working on getting him to come on here. I'm telling you, you guys will enjoy it. But Luis Poloni, that's a good pull. He had an inside. I could see Luis was a hell of a player, and he was super fast. And the other one that Sean says was Dallas McPherson. Dallas McPherson. When I think Dallas McPherson, I think of Dallas McPherson, mono Dallas McPherson. Dallas McPherson, I can't hit in the majors, Dallas McPherson. So, wow, okay. Don't call Lodge a broadcaster, haha. And then the chair also says, which is James, Tony Phillips. Another pull, another great pull right there, along with Womack. I loved Tony Phillips. The only problem with Tony Phillips is I wish he played longer with the Angels. He played too long with the A's. And also, rest in peace, he passed away just a year or two ago. I think it was from all the effects of cocaine use. He got busted with cocaine when he was in Anaheim and in Oakland. He was still playing winter ball and things like that, like in his 50s. He was that good. He was like Ricky Henderson. He was so talented. It's just a sad thing that he passed away. He was a hell of a player. One of my favorite players from the 90s. Y'all remember Ernie Banks? Hell yeah, we do. Matt Bedingo says Jeff Devanin. That's another name. That Peter Borges, that dude flew. No, not Ty Cobb. Let's see, no relation to Alex Cobb. Yeah, I think we know that. Tony Phillips, you're going to keep that going, aren't you, Growmaster? All right, so with that with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. And, Angels get a win. Let's do it tomorrow. Ohtani's on the hill, so it's going to be exciting. Let's hope he gets to 8 wins, I believe he's shooting for. He's going to get over 10, which he's easily going to get the freaking MVP. So he's going to have like 50 home runs, hopefully, and over 10 wins. Or getting a playoff spot, then unfortunately, the media would be, fortunately, if that were the case, the media would be more intuitive to what he's doing, and he would get more exposure, and he would be more appreciated. And I think with a season being lost, he's just stat padding according to most fans, and it kind of sucks. Sean says Phillips smoked crack in the parking lot of El Torito, got caught. Yeah, I remember that. Thought it was in the 90s across from the stadium. Yeah, guy was addicted, but still maintained a great body shape and a great player work ethic. His game crack seemed to help him. Unfortunately, I know that sounds terrible, but he was a great player. I just wish he was off the drugs. Maybe he'd still be alive. He died of complications from doing crack. It hurt his heart. I think he got an enlarged heart. Something went wrong, and they did attribute it to his prior cocaine use. So that's really unfortunate. So again, stay off